This is Ed Howard reporting from our last meeting of the Open Space Preservation Commission Thursday at Town Hall. We had a very full and energetic meeting. And as I just confessed, I was up at 3 o'clock this morning delivering our daughter to Logan Airport. So if my recitation here is not my usual sharp self, hopefully you'll give me a little leeway. So the first thing on our agenda was public comments, and I took advantage of that to talk about Family Day. I thought maybe we could do something at Family Day, but it looks like we're going to do something next year. After we dotted all the I's and attempted to cross all the T's, we came up one short. So look for us at Family Day next year. Next thing on our agenda was parcels of interest, and we had a long discussion, and we've had some conversations with Norman. And so what our plan is to first make contact with the landowner. And then if there's interest, that myself and another member of the commission, likely Steve Lewandowski, will have a chat with the landowner, hopefully on the parcel, which would be really nice. And then we can talk about it and bring it to Norman and carry on from there. And that's more or less the story there. The next was a bridge on basically on private property, and I don't want to reveal the details there. And we had a fair discussion. The private party would build and pay for the bridge, which would actually be on open space, to give him access to open space property. And one of the things we discussed, and will be brought back to the homeowner, would be whether he would be willing to allow the general public to use that bridge and cross his land, which would then give them access to, another portion of that property. And so we have to reach out yet and contact that homeowner and see how we go. But that was the story there. And then because of the recent issue on, I am having a cat and a dog who are both looking for attention. Because of the recent issue in Cameron Woods, where a dog got snatched by a coyote, we had a discussion again about game cameras, and the vote was, yeah, let's set $500 aside and see what we can come up with. And I just spent the last half hour reading about a particular game camera, and it's complicated, but hopefully we'll come up with something. And the issue is that it's probably going to be someplace it's not terribly convenient, and so one that can use, for access via phone is probably what we're going to look at. And then of course, how long do the batteries last before you have to replace the batteries, et cetera. So it'll be a bit before we get that off the ground. The big deal was Cameron or Whisper Way. And there was a planning board meeting where the issues of the open space associated with Whisper Way had not been transferred as of yet, which they're supposed to be, but it seems like there's a little confusion there. And so they have to be transferred, and they have to be properly marked, boundary markings, et cetera. And boundary markings, my experience, I'm speaking a little off the cuff here, I hope I don't get in trouble. My experience with boundary markers and buffer markings in Hopkinton, serving both on open space and the Conservation Commission, is that oftentimes it seems that they're lacking in presence or in visibility. So hopefully, in this case, we're going to get that issue sorted out. The other aspect is that some additional land is being offered, and we had discussions about the land and the fact that we might want to wiggle the boundaries a little bit because there's a stream involved, and we might want to do a couple other things to improve connection to Valleywood and out to Wood Street. And so there's a few things still that we need to talk about with the developers, but we're pretty optimistic that we can get this all together for some nice property that's adjacent to Cameron Woods, and we think it's a big plus. We had very minor discussions from CPC that we have to have if we want CPC money for anything. We got to get that in by the 12th of October. And with the planning board, and the planning board issues basically come back to what we just talked about with Whisper Way. And that was it. It seemed pretty crazy at the time, but in the end, the review of it is pretty straightforward. So there we go. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.